The iPhone 17 Pro Max is coming, even if we are still several months away from seeing one in action. The iPhone 16 Pro Max might be one of the best phones you can purchase right now, but the iPhone 17 Pro Max should easily knock it from its perch with different upgrades and improvements. We still don't know much about the iPhone 17 Pro Max, but we've already heard various speculations indicating that huge things could come. If those speculations are to be believed, 2025 might also witness the first major iPhone redesign since 2019's iPhone 11, with advancements to the phone's display and durability. Hopefully that'll change as the months pass by and we approach closer to the official launch day of the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Until then, here's everything we've heard about the iPhone 17 Pro Max so far. iPhone 17 Pro Max, price and release date prediction. Price may be a sticky matter for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, with one analyst forecasting that the entire iPhone 17 lineup could become more expensive, after the iPhone 16 reportedly dodged a price raise by the skin of its teeth. While other iPhone models haven't had any big price hikes for years, the Pro Max model has. Apple nixed the 128 gigs iPhone 15 Pro Max, instead settling for 256 gigs of base storage. While the 256 gigs 15 Pro Max was the same price as the 256 gigs iPhone 14 Pro Max, it still meant the price of entry was $100 greater that year, a trend that Apple repeated with the iPhone 16 Pro Max. While we don't know whether a price raise will happen or whether it will influence the iPhone 17 Pro Max, we shouldn't be surprised if the phone does cost more than the $1,199 iPhone 16 Pro Max price tag. Apple's dynamic island, that pill-shaped and fully fungible black spot that sits atop your iPhone 16, along with iPhone 15 and iPhone 14 Pro models, is relatively little in the context of things. As measured by me, it normally lies between 22mm and 32mm wide and 6mm deep, unless you touch it, and then it can extend to 7cm wide by over 3cm deep. It's an occasionally helpful space, but it's also screen real estate that I'm tired of giving up. Please understand that I'm normally a dynamic island fan and wrote about it passionately in 2022. I termed it clever and impressive, but I'm a larger admirer of everything else happening on my iPhone 16 Pro Max screen and grow weary of this quite wide and sometimes mostly dark pit-out. I started wondering the future of this place again after a slew of new speculations regarding Apple's likely plans for the iPhone 17. Some think Apple might be attempting to lower the size of the island by decreasing the components stored within it. One of the reasons I appreciate the dynamic island is that it's not just dead space, and it's also not all screen. Instead, the dynamic island is a brilliant blend of the two. There's a proximity sensor, an infrared projector, aka time-of-flight sensor, and a 12 gigs camera. Before the dynamic island, there was the True Depth notch, which was debuted with the iPhone X as part of the then new Face ID system. I also love Face ID with all my heart. It's so much more efficient than unlocking your phone, applications, and services with your finger. What Apple did with the dynamic island is it relocated the notch down and into the screen space, and then divided it up such that the three components are bisected between the two sensors and the one camera by a tiny amount of active screen. This is how notifications and display components warning you of system activity, a red dot to show you the camera or microphone is active, for instance, appear between the Face ID sensor and the camera lens. I appreciate this effect and how Apple developed all the dynamic island movements to make it appear as if the pill effortlessly grows and shrinks to meet the current purpose. It's all very wonderfully done. Even yet, I want as near a pristine iPhone 17 screen as feasible. What the iPhone display was before the iPhone X. I realize it was smaller and of a lower resolution, but it had no odd notch, not even a cutout. In the world of current edge-to-edge displays, this is almost but not quite a pipe dream. The Samsung Galaxy S24, for instance, features just a tiny drill-through for the front-facing camera. On the internal flexible screen of its Galaxy Z Fold 6, Samsung covers the camera cutout with pixels that disappear when it's time to take a selfie. This is what I want with the iPhone 17. No more half measures to accommodate the True Depth module. I want Apple to discover a way to permanently hide Face ID, and the proximity sensor behind the display. I wonder whether one of these can be downsized enough to live in the ultra-thin screen bezel. For the 12 megapixels, or maybe 48 megapixels, front-facing camera, let's take the Samsung method and hide it with live pixels that shift to transparent when it's selfie time. You might assume this will kill the dynamic island. It might, but the concept of surfacing app status and other activity notifications could be handed over to Siri. Maybe it could sometimes go from the screen around glow to a dynamic island-like animation that temporarily shows at the top of the screen. I'd enable it when you shake the phone. Considering that Siri's Apple Intelligence Update is expected to provide more third-party app expertise to its digital assistant, I think this makes logical. Even if Apple does away with the actual island and all those little status messages, will we miss it that much? How often do we have to stare at our phones to know what's going on? If the status or activity update is that essential, it should be a notification. There's a non-0% chance this will happen. The iPhone 17 could, after all, be a big device redesign. We think it'll be a much thinner, at least one model, popularly referred to as the iPhone 17 Air, and feature way better cameras. If the screen experiences a big update, like the tandem OLED technology in the ultra-thin iPad Pro M4 13-inch, then the elimination of the dynamic island makes some sense. It's not that I don't like the dynamic island, but sometimes I feel like I've been stuck on, or at least with it, and I'm ready for a rescue. We've just seen a flurry of leaks about the iPhone 17 coming September 2025, and the iPhone 18 due September 2026, and if the information in them is genuine, you might want to wait until the latter handset is out for your next iPhone upgrade. First off, a rumor in reputable South Korea publication The Elec, via 9to5Mac, indicates that Apple's camera module suppliers are updating their production facilities, ready to start pumping out cameras suitable for the iPhone 17 Pro. However, there won't be any periscope lenses for the normal iPhone 17 and the iPhone 17 Air, or iPhone 17 Slim, according to the rumor. That apparently means no 5x optical zoom improvement to match the Pro and Pro Max next year. For the higher-end iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max variants, there are allegations of more severe design modifications. Apple is reported to be shifting from titanium back to aluminum for upcoming models, a big move from the iPhone X-era stainless steel frames. Additionally, the Pro models might boast a unique half-aluminum, half-glass backing, enhancing durability while keeping wireless charging capabilities. The back camera system might also receive a design revamp with a new rectangular bump. So, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tech news and updates.